Ever wondered how many healthy grocery labels are actually traps you shouldn't fall for? You've stood in the cereal aisle squinting at boxes promising all natural, fat-free, or made with real fruit, trying to pick the better option. But what if those friendly words are hiding the very thing you're trying to avoid? And which of these labels would fool you first? Let's kick things off with the feel-good phrase that hides way more than it reveals. All natural. You walk into the snack aisle and see a box of granola bars shouting all natural across the front. The packaging has soft colors, maybe a little picture of a sunrise, and suddenly you feel like you are buying something pulled straight from a farm field. That is the trick. The words all natural are not a guarantee of purity. They are not backed by strict rules, and they definitely do not mean the food is free from chemicals, preservatives, or heavy processing. It is a phrase that makes us feel safe, but in reality it can mean almost anything. Take juice, for example. You pick up a bottle that says all natural and imagine fresh fruit squeezed that morning. In truth, it could be loaded with concentrates and refined sweeteners that spike your sugar levels faster than soda. The label plays with our imagination, selling us the idea of health without the actual work of delivering it. The real punch? These all-natural products often cost more. A bag of chips that says it can trace its corn back to nature might be $1 or $2 higher than the regular bag next to it. And we pay it gladly because we think we are buying a healthier choice. But in many cases, we are just paying extra for clever words. So what can you do? Flip the package. Read the ingredients. If you see a long list with things you would never use in your own kitchen, the label is not protecting you. It is tricking you. True natural food does not need a sign to tell you it is natural. An apple is an apple, not a brand slogan. Have you ever picked something labeled all natural and later felt tricked when you checked the ingredients? Sliding in early is the loaf that dresses up in brown, but acts like plain white. Multi-grain. Walk into the bread aisle and it feels endless. White bread, wheat bread, rye, sourdough. Then your eyes land on the rustic-looking multi-grain loaf with its dark crust and sprinkling of seeds. It looks hearty, it looks nutritious, and it makes you feel proud for choosing it over the soft white loaf. But here is the sneaky truth. Multigrain just means more than one grain was used. Those grains can all be refined, stripped of their fiber, and leave you with the same nutritional value as regular white bread. The color of the bread often tricks shoppers. Many loaves are dyed with caramel coloring to look darker and more wholesome. They throw a few seeds on top to complete the disguise, but inside it is the same old refined flour. Your blood sugar spikes, your hunger returns faster, and you wonder why your healthy bread is not keeping you full. And here is the kicker: the price tag. A loaf of white bread might be $2, but multigrain can climb to $4 or even $5. You are paying double for a label that sounds fancy but rarely delivers. The smarter move is to look for 100% whole grain or 100% whole wheat. That means the entire grain is used, with the fiber and nutrients intact. It feels heavier in your hand and heavier in your stomach, in a good way. Without that phrase, you are likely eating a bread that is all show, no substance. Have you ever bought a multigrain bread that looked healthy, only to realize it was not much better than white bread? Coming up next is the label that sounds like a sugar saint but plays sugar sinner. No sugar added. Imagine reaching for a carton of orange juice that proudly claims no sugar added. You pour yourself a glass, take a sip, and it is sweet enough to taste like candy. That is because no sugar added does not mean sugar-free. It only means no spoonfuls of sugar were poured in during production. The product can still be loaded with natural sugars, fruit concentrates, or syrups that hit your bloodstream, just the same. Take fruit jams, for example. A jar marked no sugar added might still be packed with fruit concentrate. Your body does not care about the label. To your system, sugar is sugar, no matter the source. The sad part? These products often cost more than regular ones. The special no sugar added jam could be $6 while the standard jar is $4. What you are really paying for is a badge that makes you feel good, not necessarily a healthier snack. So, what is the solution? Always check the nutrition panel. Look at the grams of sugar per serving. If the number is sky high, the no sugar added claim is more about marketing than your health. Sometimes the simplest answer is the best. Grab a fresh piece of fruit and skip the label games altogether. Have you ever trusted a no sugar added label, only to realize later it was still packed with sugar? Now here is a diet darling that often backfires in the sneakiest ways. Fat-free. You see it everywhere: cookies, yogurts, even salad dressings with big letters saying fat-free. It feels like the answer to every dieter's dream: eat the same foods without the fat. But here is the reality: when food companies remove fat, they take away flavor and texture. To make up for it, they often add sugar, salt, or artificial thickeners, turning the product into something that is far from healthy. Think about fat-free cookies. They may sound like a guilt-free treat, but most are loaded with refined flour and extra sweeteners. You end up eating more of them because they feel safe, but your body is not fooled. The calories add up quickly and the sugar spike leaves you hungrier than before. Price plays a role here too. Fat-free versions often cost more than their full-fat counterparts. The promise of health sells, even when the food delivers little beyond clever packaging. And because fat has been painted as the enemy for so long, shoppers hand over their money without a second thought. The truth is, fat is not the villain it was once made out to be. Healthy fats from sources like nuts, olive oil, and avocados are vital for energy, hormones, and brain function. Removing fat from processed food rarely makes it better. In fact, it often makes it worse. So next time you see fat-free calling out to you in the aisle, remember, it is not always a gift. Sometimes it is a trade-off that costs you both flavor and nutrition. Have you ever fallen for fat-free foods, only to realize they left you hungrier than before? On the fifth spot is the bandwagon label slapped on everything from candy to ketchup: gluten-free. Walk into any supermarket today and you will see the gluten-free label plastered on shelves like a golden ticket. Crackers, cookies, even bottled water in some cases proudly declare themselves gluten-free. For people with celiac disease or real gluten intolerance, this label is life-changing. It allows them to shop safely without worrying about their health. But for the rest of us, gluten-free has quietly become a marketing trick. Food companies know that many shoppers connect gluten-free with healthier, so they use the label to make products look good that never even had gluten in the first place. Gluten-free gummy bears? Really? They never contained gluten, but the label gives the illusion that you are buying a smarter option. The catch is that gluten-free does not automatically mean good for you. Many gluten-free baked goods like bread and muffins replace wheat flour with refined starches such as tapioca or potato starch. These are highly processed, and when you eat them, your blood sugar can spike just as fast as if you were eating white bread. In some cases, it is even worse. You think you are making the healthy choice, but your body feels the same energy crash an hour later. And let us not forget the price difference. A regular loaf of bread might cost $3, while the gluten-free version of the same size can be $6 or $7. Multiply that across all the products in your cart, and suddenly you are paying double for food that may not even be healthier. You are buying a label, not better nutrition. Here's the truth. Unless you truly need to avoid gluten, there is no reason to chase the gluten-free stamp. If you enjoy bread, whole wheat or whole grain versions give you fiber, vitamins, and minerals that gluten-free versions often lack. It is not about the presence of gluten, it is about the quality of the food. So the next time you see a bright gluten-free badge on something that never had gluten in the first place, pause before paying extra. Ask yourself if you are buying safety you actually need, or just falling for clever packaging. Have you ever bought something gluten-free only to realize it never had gluten in the first place? Rolling in sweet and fruity is a claim that is usually more smoke than orchard. Made with real fruit. Imagine this. You pick up a box of chewy fruit snacks or a colorful cereal that proudly boasts made with real fruit. Immediately, you picture strawberries being picked fresh in the sunshine, blueberries tumbling into the mix, and peaches being folded into the recipe. But here is the truth. In most cases, made with real fruit means that a spoonful of fruit concentrate or puree was stirred in at some point. A single drop of apple concentrate is often enough for a company to legally slap the claim on the front of the package, even if the rest of the product is mostly corn syrup, sugar, and artificial coloring. The trick works best with juices. A bottle that brags "made with real fruit" might be 90% water and added sugar, with just a splash of concentrate to qualify for the label. That is like waving a strawberry over a pot of syrup and calling it health food. Your taste buds are fooled by the sweetness, but your body knows the difference. All sugar, very little nutrition. And here is the kicker. These products often cost more than plain candy. A bag of fruit snacks with the label might cost $4, while a bag of jelly candies without the label sells for $2. The difference is not nutrition, it is branding. Companies know that parents especially will pay more for a snack that looks healthier, even if it really is not. Real fruit does not need to advertise itself. A banana, an apple, or a handful of berries bring natural sweetness, fiber, and vitamins. No special wording needed. Packaged foods shouting "made with real fruit" are usually leaning on a loophole. So remember this: if the label needs to tell you it has real fruit, there probably is not much fruit inside. Have you ever eaten a made with real fruit snack that tasted more like candy than anything fresh? The seventh pick is the calorie cutter that piles on hidden problems instead. Low calorie. You are walking through the frozen aisle and see a meal marked low calorie. It feels like a safe choice. All the flavor without the guilt. You bring it home, heat it up, and sit down to eat. The portion is small, the flavor is bland, and 30 minutes later, your stomach is already growling. That is the secret behind many low-calorie products. They cut the calories not by making food healthier, but by making it smaller, or by replacing fat with extra sugar, sodium, or artificial flavorings. You think you are winning, but the trade-off often leaves you less satisfied than before. Take low-calorie cookies as an example. The package may boast about saving you 20 calories per cookie, but what they do not mention is that the added sugar substitutes and fillers make you crave more. Before you know it, you have eaten 3 or 4 and the math no longer works in your favor. Instead of saving calories, you end up eating more overall. And then there is the cost. A low-calorie frozen meal can be $5 or $6 for one portion, while a homemade meal of chicken and vegetables might cost the same but serve 2 or 3 people. You are paying for the illusion of control, not nutrition that lasts. The bigger problem is that not all calories are equal. A small cookie may be low in calories, but it provides almost no nutrients. A handful of almonds might be higher in calories, but it delivers protein, fiber, and healthy fats that keep you satisfied. The quality of the calories matters more than the number. So do not let the label trick you into thinking fewer calories always means better. Sometimes fewer calories just means fewer nutrients, more fillers, and more hunger later. Have you ever eaten a low-calorie meal and felt hungrier afterward than before? Right after that comes the wholesome-sounding halo that does not always mean healthier. Organic. Step into any grocery store and you will see organic everywhere. Organic apples, organic cereal, organic pasta, even organic candy bars. The word shines like a badge of honor. It makes you feel like you are choosing something pure, safer, and better for your body. And in some ways, that can be true. Organic farming does use fewer pesticides, and many people prefer to support that style of growing food. But here is the catch. Organic does not automatically mean healthy. Think about cookies. If you take regular cookies and switch the flour, sugar, and oil to organic versions, they are still cookies. They are still loaded with sugar, fat, and empty calories. The label may make you feel better, but your body still processes them the same way. The same is true for organic soda or organic chips. They may be made with organic ingredients, but they are still junk food. And the cost? Organic products are often 30 to 50% more expensive. A gallon of organic milk can be $6, while conventional milk is $3. Organic potato chips may cost $4, while the standard version is $2. You are paying more, but not always getting more nutrition. That does not mean organic is bad. If buying organic produce gives you peace of mind, or if you want to support organic farms, that is a good choice. But it is important to separate the idea of organic from healthy. Junk food is still junk food, even when it wears an organic label. So when you see the word organic glowing on a package, stop and think. Ask yourself, am I buying this for real nutrition or just for the feel-good label? Have you ever splurged on something organic only to realize it was not really healthier? At number 9, we have got the sneaky nutrition badge that sugar loves to hide behind. High in fiber. You spot a cereal box on the shelf, and the first thing you notice is the giant promise stamped on the front: high in fiber. It feels like a gift, the perfect way to start the day. Fiber is good for you. It helps digestion, lowers cholesterol, and keeps you full longer. The problem is that label does not always mean what you think it does. Many products boost their fiber by adding powdered ingredients like chicory root or inulin. Yes, it technically raises the fiber count, but the same box may also pack in more sugar than a candy bar. You think you are buying heart health, but your bloodstream is being ambushed by syrup. Picture a granola bar with high in fiber written in big letters. You flip it over, and the sugar count is 20 grams per serving. That is more than most donuts. The brand knows you will see the good word fiber and stop looking. But your body knows the truth. Sugar hits you fast, spikes your energy, and then leaves you hungry again. Fiber cannot do its job if it is buried under layers of sweetness. The tricky part is that many shoppers, especially seniors who want to eat better, trust the fiber label blindly. They remember doctors praising fiber and think, this must be what I need. But not all fiber is equal. Real fiber comes with nutrients from whole foods: beans, lentils, oats, vegetables, and fruit. Added fiber powders do not give the same benefit, and when they are paired with excess sugar, the balance tips in the wrong direction. And of course, the price is always higher. A so-called high-fiber cereal may cost $5 or $6, while the plain brand cereal next to it is half the price and often healthier. What you are really paying for is a flashy sticker, not true nutrition. So what should you do? Look for foods where fiber is natural. If beans, oats, or whole grains are at the top of the ingredient list, you are in good hands. If the fiber source looks like something from a lab, it is probably just a sales trick. Have you ever bought a high-in-fiber snack only to realize it was packed with sugar too? Next up is the trendy buzzword that makes junk food look like it belongs in a diet plan: keto-friendly. When the keto diet exploded, food companies rushed to slap the label keto-friendly on anything they could. Now you can find keto ice cream, keto brownies, keto chips, even keto coffee creamers. It sounds like a dream come true. All the foods you love but diet approved. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Keto-friendly is not a regulated label. It does not guarantee that the food is low in carbs, healthy, or balanced. It just means the company found a way to market the product to fit the trend. Take a keto protein bar. The front of the wrapper says only 2 net carbs, but the back lists sugar alcohols, thickeners, and processed oils that most home kitchens never see. These ingredients might technically fit the keto math, but they can cause stomach issues, headaches, or simply make you feel lousy. Worse, the high fat and sodium levels in many keto snacks are not the kind of nutrition your body thrives on long term. The price is another problem. Keto brownies can cost $3 or $4 each, while baking a pan of regular brownies at home costs about the same for the whole batch. Keto-friendly chips can be $6 a bag, double the price of regular ones. You are not buying better food, you are buying a label. Does that mean keto is bad? Not at all. For some people, it is a useful way to manage health or lose weight. But when it comes to packaged foods, keto-friendly often means overpriced and overprocessed. If you want to stay true to keto, whole foods like meat, eggs, cheese, and low-carb vegetables are far better options than bars that taste like chemicals. So remember, just because the bag says keto-friendly does not mean it is friendly to you. Have you ever tried a keto-friendly snack that tasted more like chemicals than food? Near the end of the list is the greenwash tag that even chips and soda can wave around: plant-based. You hear plant-based, and your brain fills with pictures of fresh vegetables, steaming bowls of lentils, and leafy salads. The phrase has a glow to it, like you are doing something truly wholesome. But here is the reality. Plant-based only means the food came from plants. It does not mean it is healthy. Potato chips are plant-based. Soda made with corn syrup is plant-based. A fried onion ring is plant-based too. The label plays on your assumptions, tricking you into thinking it belongs in the same category as a kale salad. Think about plant-based burgers. Some are carefully made with beans, grains, and spices, giving you a healthy option. But many of the popular ones are loaded with sodium, oils, and flavor enhancers. They may look the part, but they can be just as processed as frozen pizza. Without checking the back, you would never know the difference. The cost is another surprise. A bag of plain tortilla chips might be $2, but one with a plant-based badge could be $4. The only thing that changed was the label. Real plant-based foods, fruits, vegetables, beans, are not expensive. It is the packaged ones that get inflated. This does not mean plant-based eating is bad. In fact, when done with whole foods, it can be incredibly healthy. The issue is when companies use the phrase to mask junk food. If a product has to shout plant-based on the front, it is usually trying to distract you from what is inside. So the next time you see that label, pause. Ask yourself, is this real food or just a plant in disguise? Have you ever bought a plant-based product and realized it was no better than junk food? And finally, we close with the heart-healthy disguise that often trades salt for a sugar trap. Low sodium. You are standing in the soup aisle trying to be smart. You pick up a can that proudly declares low sodium. Instantly, you feel like you are making the right choice for your blood pressure. And yes, too much sodium can be a problem. But here's the hidden twist. When companies remove salt, they often replace it with sugar or artificial flavors to make up for lost taste. You think you are protecting your heart, but you may be stressing your blood sugar instead. Take low-sodium tomato soup. The label looks safe, but one sip tastes noticeably sweet. Why? Because the sugar content has been bumped up to keep the flavor appealing. In other cases, you might see flavor enhancers or natural flavors added to make up for the missing salt. Either way, you are trading one problem for another. And do not forget the price. Low-sodium canned foods often cost $1 or $2 more than their regular versions. The company knows you will pay extra for the peace of mind. But if the sugar count shoots up, the trade-off is not worth it. The smart move is to check both sodium and sugar on the nutrition panel. Sometimes the regular version is actually better balanced. And even better than canned food is making simple meals at home, where you can control both salt and sugar yourself. Fresh vegetables, herbs, and spices can give you flavor without the hidden cost. So remember, low sodium does not always mean healthy. It might just mean the label swapped one trap for another. Have you ever chosen a low-sodium food and been surprised by how sweet it tasted? And that wraps up our grocery label showdown. Now tell me in the comments which so-called healthy label has fooled you before. Hit the like button if you have ever double-checked the back of the box, and subscribe to the hidden menu so you never shop hungry for truth again.
And remember, the truth is not always on the menu.